This episode of Doodle Talk is brought to you by the letter D. Now back to our scheduled programming.
What's up, all you doodles and doodlers out there, you schemers and dreamers, and welcome back to another episode of Doodle Talk. This is episode 24. We're moving along. We're almost at 30. It's amazing, isn't it? This is basically half of a year. Oh man, I'll have to do the math later and remember what day. I think this started happening right around the end of November, early December. So, oh boy, dude, holy shit. We are coming up on 6 months of Doodle Talk. Holy crap. That's really crazy. I actually haven't thought about that in a minute. Whoa. The 1 month period, the 2 month and 3 month period, I was very aware of, kind of keeping track of what number of the podcast it was and stuff. But man, holy spinoli, cannoli, oil, holy shit. Whichever one is gonna be exactly 6 months, I might try and do a little something special. I was already thinking the other day, I was like, for the 1 year episode, I'm gonna do something special. It's either gonna be episode 50 or 52. Not really sure, because I know 52 obviously would be the full year, assuming I don't miss any, which trying my best not to miss a week at all. But the other thing you can do, right, is kind of keep it even, do it on 50. Man, 5 seconds in and we're already on a tangent there. That's podcasting, baby. Yeah, but welcome to another episode. Grab a seat, put on your best pair of loafers. Put on your best pair of loafers today. Even if you're not wearing anything else, just put on your best pair of loafers, grab a seat, lay down even if you want to. You could lay down and listen to this. That's totally fine too. I have no objection against that. Yeah, welcome back. We are getting into things here. I have a little post-it note this time. I wrote some stuff down so I don't. You know what's funny? Okay. That's also a cute little Shin-chan one. I wrote this little memo because normally I have a few points that I want to touch on, right? And I've been writing it down on a Google sheet or whatever, but since I've been sparing everything down more and more and going more off the top of my head, once I've decided, I was like, I'll have a little cheat sheet, a little memo with some of the main points I want to talk about, and that'll help me not go on tangents, and that'll help me stay on track. And it's already 3 minutes in and I've talked about nothing. If you're still here, thanks for sticking through it. That was just a test to see if all the true fans make sure they go, the fake fans make sure they go away, and only the true fans are gonna stay. No apologies here on Doodle Talk. We just do whatever we want. I think over the past couple of weeks, that's what I've told myself is try and be as efficient and high quality and awesome content and stuff on the regular YouTube videos, but I was on Doodle Talk, if you want to talk about bananas for 15 minutes and if you want to talk about bananas for 15 minutes, go ahead, do it, whatever. It is what it is. If it makes the episode turn out terrible, that's just what happens, because yeah, gotta have an outlet, you gotta have those outlets where you can just do whatever you want and not feel pressure to conform to one thing or another. That's not to say I'm not trying to make it a shit podcast, obviously, but I am trying to just be a little bit more, put yourself into it more. I want to try, and this is actually going to tie into what I'm talking about today as well. It's you try and put yourself into things and you notice that one, you feel more natural doing it. Me just talking more off the cuff like this is so much more natural. Hopefully you've noticed that as a listener, that when I'm able to just truly talk about things that interest me and talk off the cuff like that, it's normally ends up being better. I notice it when I'm editing these things, looking back at the footage and everything. And two, I forgot what I was talking about already. There's pros and cons, right? No, you feel more natural doing it, and then yeah, I guess it turns out it's better. So yeah, just been playing Zelda a lot the past week. If you haven't checked out the last week's podcast talking about Zelda and some video games, a lot of the ones that inspired me, please go check that out. I think it was pretty cool. It was a lot more of this kind of just bantery kind of talk, and I feel like when I was looking back at it, like I missed so many video games that I just forgot about that I've played over the years. So if it just seems like I'm an idiot who's only ever played like 2 games and Halo growing up, then my bad. I've definitely played other video games, and I definitely forgot about some. I wanted to focus mostly on like Zelda and Pokemon just because the art styles, and there's a few things I forgot to mention. It's just like Ken Sugimori, the guy who did like the original, he's still like, I believe he's still even to this day like the main Pokemon character designer. But he, you know, if you've ever seen those old like watercolor character designs and the original designs from the first couple gens were like, I think all just done by him. Those had a huge impact on me. I kind of forgot to talk like specifically about some of the art aspects about it, but hey, what are you gonna do? They still like, just overall in general, all of that stuff combined is what inspired me. So yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, just been playing Zelda, the new Tears of the Kingdom, and it's awesome. I honestly like it even more than I was like my initial reaction to it. So just kind of taking my time, not trying to beat it too fast, because I only like fully invest myself into a video game like once or twice a year at most. So I like to take my time and kind of not drag it out too long, but you know, I like to take my time, have fun as I'm going, like kind of explore things and not try to rush through it. So I'm enjoying that a lot, and making sure that I've also forced myself to like keep working on art stuff. I definitely have lost a few hours this week where I should have been probably drawing or working on some other stuff. And I just, you know, I gave myself a pass this week. It was like, if you want to play Zelda for an extra 30 minutes or an hour instead of doing art stuff, that's fine, just do that. But now it's a little bit more, it's back to the grind. You know, you can only do that for so long. I can only do that for so long before I just start feeling really guilty about it as well. And yeah, super awesome. If you've never played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, do it. Just go do it. Go start playing right now. Just stop this podcast and go do it. And besides that, I put out there's a new Pokemon video. I've stopped doing the mashups because I just kind of got bored of doing that, and I didn't want to keep filming the drawing the names out of the bowls and stuff. It was really fun. I learned a lot. I love that series. That series performed really well on Instagram, got me a ton of new followers and stuff too, so that's really awesome. I actually I made these 2 illustrations. So the one I just put out is it's a what if. So these new videos is a Pokemon what if video. Instead of a mashup, this is actually an old idea that I had about, man, I want to say it's like almost a year old. Sometime last year I had this idea. This was actually going to be, it's really interesting. This was going to be my like original, what I wanted to start making videos with on YouTube was going to be kind of art videos like that, where I just have an idea and like, all right, let me explain first. So it's a what if situation, right? So I did Sherlock Holmes. What Pokemon might Sherlock Holmes have? And I tried not to be too on the nose. Like obviously there's Detective Pikachu, but I wanted to be a little bit more creative than that and think about like what other things might actually be like a good Pokemon for someone like Sherlock Holmes to have. And since he's super intellectual and, you know, he's talking all the time, I thought, oh, Team Rocket's Meowth. Specifically Team Rocket's Meowth because he can talk, right? So yeah, he's kind of a wisecracker. If you've ever read like the Sherlock Holmes books, you know that Watson is very like keeps Sherlock in check, and he's kind of, I guess he's kind of the straight man to Sherlock being like the wild card. But he's witty, right? And he's got that banter, and I feel like Meowth kind of has that kind of like Englishman in him, where he's like kind of can be a little cheeky here and there. So yeah, that just stood out to me, and that's what I chose. It's just for fun. It's not like you know, if you're gonna get too serious about it, there's probably someone did have a good suggestion of Herdier, that like dog Pokemon who is like a terrier. That's actually a really, really good idea. I did not even think about that. But yeah, I went through a couple, you know, and that's what I decided on. But I made this illustration about a year ago and just didn't do anything with it because I tried to create this video where it was like the who's that Pokemon, like you know, like the ad break, like the mid rolls that would come on the Pokemon shows back in the day, and I couldn't get the video to work. So I made the Meowth and Sherlock and another one that I haven't released yet, so it's a secret. But I made these 2, and it was like, shit, this isn't working, I can't do this, like it's not, I don't know, like I was gonna try and use this to help jumpstart my like YouTube channel before I, you know, this was before I actually started doing that through other means. And yeah, I was just sitting on them for a while, and then got tired of doing the Pokemon mashups and was like, what is something else I can do? I do have some other ideas of some more kind of like style kind of things that I want to try. But one of the things is like, oh, I have those what ifs, those 2 what if ones, and maybe if I like them, I'll do some more. But for now, it's like I worked really hard on these 2 illustrations, and I liked how they turned out. So let me try and just create a new way. And I had already been used to doing the mashup videos. This is what I was trying to mention before, is like I learned a lot from doing the mashup videos, so all I had to do was kind of reincorporate that kind of like vertical real TikTok style of, you know, I forgot, I was like, what did I even say? Like, what if Sherlock, have you ever wondered what Sherlock Holmes what Pokemon Sherlock Holmes would have? Is like, that was like the, because I had to come up with the idea, right? It's kind of like a YouTube video when you're like, you got to think of the idea, the name, and the thumbnail in order for it to be like become a cohesive thing, even if you already have the seed of the idea for it. So I got that, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool actually. So I recorded that, threw it together, and then yeah, I have this new kind of what if thing. It's quick and snappy. I got rid of the time lapse because that's what I was doing with the Pokemon mashup videos, and I'm not sure if people were liking that much. And I don't know if I have the time lapses. That was also like kind of the thing. It was an older file. I don't think I recorded a time lapse for it, or it was over like separate files, so I couldn't just get the one cohesive time lapse for the whole thing. But that's okay, because I was like, let me just try this. It's only like 15 seconds for each of these videos. And yeah, so that's out now as well. I had a lot of fun trying out a new style of video for that one. Go check it out if you haven't. That one's doing pretty well as well. And leading into the main topic of what I want to actually talk about today is the other day I got to 1,000 followers on Instagram. Yay! Got past, I noticed I was like 999 a couple days ago, and I was like, oh damn, and I saw like it hit 1,000. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then like the next day when I woke up, it was at like 1,008 or something. And yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to anyone who follows me on Instagram. Like, thank you so much. I know 1,000. I made a little post on in my story on IG too, but you know, it's nothing crazy, 1,000 followers. But for me, I had been hovering around 500 or 600 followers for like years. I got from like, you know, I started that art account back probably like 2016, 2017. So this is already like 6 years ago, essentially. And I feel like I got to a couple hundred, maybe 300, 400 pretty easily, because it was like a lot of the old people who followed my other account, or just like, you know, I do think discoverability was a little bit easier back then too. So I caught a wave of just like, you know, I was putting out decent stuff. It wasn't the best, to be honest, but some interesting stuff. I did some fun, like I did a bunch of like fan art kind of things, like Courage the Cowardly Dog and Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Jack. I did a whole series where I was doing that. Got to like 300, 400, 500, and then was hovering around 600, 700 for years. I want to say like probably at least 2 or 3 years. So the first year or two got like, you know, saw the most growth. Then a slowly went up to about 600, 700, and then for like straight up 2 years I was probably going between like 600 and 750 or something. And then back in November, end of November, December, when I really put my focus into YouTube and Instagram, I was just, you know, I was posting more, just being more strategic with everything, posting some you know, not clickbaity, like fan art kind of stuff, more fan art, more like Pokemon, more Zelda stuff, and you know, just getting more people's attention and boosting some of my reels and stuff. So, you know, paying to advertise to more people that I wouldn't normally be able to reach. And it, you know, I noticed, man, which one was it? It was probably the Psyduck. It was when I started doing the Pokemon mashups. It was the Gengar and like the Psyduck one that I really noticed. I was like, holy shit, I just gained like 20 followers overnight or something, which like never happens for me. So that was pretty crazy. And I was like, okay, all right, I get it. I see what's happening. Let me just keep doing this kind of thing. And then the no face animation the reel that I made for it, I boosted that one too, and dude, holy shit, it just got over 100k views, which is like, I know, again, nothing too crazy in like the grand scheme of things, but holy shit, like for me that's insane, because I've never had anything perform that well. And you know, I have other ones too, some of those Pokemon mashups getting between like 30, 40, 50, 60k views. This is just views, not likes and that stuff, because this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm noticing a lot of growth and some retention within that growth as well. The YouTube channel is getting, I think I'm at like probably like 130, 140 subscribers, so thank you for that too. And the thing I noticed this week, right? Because it's like, oh, this is so cool, 1,000 followers, 100k views on one of my reels. Like, holy shit, I'm balling, dude. I'm big boy balling. When did the checks start rolling in, right? The answer is no, not yet. But the thing I noticed is, like, I think the no face video, you get 100k views on something. It's got like, like less than 100 likes, right? It was really low, like 1 or 2 comments, and you know, less than 100 likes. I think it might have even been way lower. I'm kind of misremembering. I'm sorry about that. But you know, less than 100 likes, and I started realizing I've had posts or like reels and stuff, you know, things I've posted that have done like 1/10 or like 1/100th of that, kind of as far as like the reach, but I've had better interaction and engagement. And if you follow anything with social media and stuff like that, you know that engagement is really important. And this is kind of what I noticed this week, so I wanted to talk about it while it's still fresh. The thing I really want to get into today and just give my thoughts on from the past week is, you know, like, right, how many followers is enough, and quality over quantity. So the thing I noticed is like, yeah, that's great. I got 100k views on something, and it did bring in some followers. So like the goal is being achieved, right? And on a lot of the other ones, for the like you can choose where you want the traffic to go when you put an ad on Instagram like that, when you boost a reel. And for a lot of them, I would put them to my YouTube, because that's where I'm lacking, you know, with a lot of views and traffic. So I would have it just go straight to my YouTube, or I just go back to my Instagram profile and hopefully get a follow from that. I did notice that when I do the Instagram profile, it does get more followers. So if that's something you're wondering about, and you know, try different things when you put an ad up or something. Try different regions, try different cities. I try and, you know, I know that like I know like a lot of like people in Mexico like love like Dragon Ball Z and some of those shonen and stuff like that, so that's a little bit more up my alley. I know there's a lot of people in Australia and stuff that like anime. I know like little pockets, different cities around America that I know are like gonna have more weebs and more like anime lovers and more otaku people like me. So it's like, you know, you have to be kind of strategic. Weirdly, a lot like around like Eastern Europe and stuff too. Russia has a lot of people that love anime and stuff like that. Obviously it's global, it's all over the world. But you know, I try different things out. You get different, better reach, and just depending on the post too, like obviously Studio Ghibli, Pokemon, Zelda, all those things are going to do well because it's super popular. And I'm doing all this on purpose, but the good thing here is like I really want to make these things as well. I'm not just like forcing myself like, oh, I gotta do another Pokemon video. I actually hate Pokemon though. Like none of that's going on, right? So thankfully, I don't have to feel too bad about that. And the thing that I noticed, and one of the things I wrote down too, is like I've noticed that like views do not equal success, right? And a lot of this is going to be pretty common knowledge, right? But I'm just going to break it down into how I've noticed it, and specifically pertaining to a lot of my own like work and posts that I've made recently. And it's like you start to get this feeling that like 100k views at the end of the day doesn't matter much, especially in the changing landscape of Instagram, where like there'll be channels with videos that, and YouTube Shorts does this as well, where it's like someone could have 3.1 million views on a YouTube short, and you go to their profile, their channel, and they only have like 100 subscribers, which is really good, because you know, like then you're like, oh, I like this, let me subscribe. That's gonna get them a lot more subscribers. But I'm just trying to say is like, you don't have to be you don't have to have 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers to get 1 million views on one thing. It's not, it used to be more like that back in the day, but it's really not like that anymore, where your ability, especially with like viral trends and like, I mean, if I was better at TikTok and if I liked TikTok more, I bet I would be able to try and like, you could reach an even larger audience with that. If you do some like, if you hit a trendy thing like right when it's happening and you make a nice, good quality, nicely edited video, and you put some razzle dazzle in there, like, dude, you can get millions of views on TikTok easy. So this is the thing, and it's not to take away from anyone who gets those views. Like, what I'm trying to say is this is an awesome, beautiful thing that's happening, and getting initial like views and attention from things is easier than it's ever been. But the hard part now, because that's how the landscape has changed, so it's easier to do that. But one could argue that it's probably harder to keep people. It's harder to get the retention rate up. It's harder to get the engagement. I was thinking like, okay, then how do you do that, right? Like, what are the things you can do in the current climate of like social media and posting and the algorithms and everything that's going on? Like, what can you do to kind of to find the success and to find the longevity, right? Because longevity to me is huge. It's key. And as some, I think this helps because as someone who's like had really low follower amounts on everything, or like, you know, even from Facebook back in the day, and like doing some music stuff and just never having any kind of like huge amounts of success, I think it's really good because it like humbles you and it shows you like you need to be in it for the long haul if you want to make this your career or something like that, right? So I've had this discussion with my little sister and my mom before, where like my little sister was trying to help me out, and she's more, you know, up to date on in the know of a lot of TikTok stuff, and she was trying to help me if she saw any cool like art trends or anything that I could try and do to get some more views and stuff like that. And while I really appreciated it and I tried a few things, like it just wasn't working for me, and for whatever reason I really don't like TikTok that much, and I don't want to just sit here and shit talk TikTok, but you know, you start to notice things that, like, obviously the TikTokification, like the vertical video format, Reels, YouTube Shorts, that's reached its roots far into everything now, right? That's unavoidable, but at least you can still do it. Like, YouTube's nice because it's like you have long form and short form content. You can stop scrolling YouTube Shorts and just go watch a long form video, or like go directly from the short to someone's channel where they have the rest of the full length video, right? And Instagram is similar. Instagram could be like, oh, it's a cool reel, and you go to their profile and you check out maybe other small mid-length videos, or you go look at their illustrations or something. And I'm talking for artists here again, just to be clear. This is all within the realm of an artist or musician or creator or whatever. The thing with TikTok is like, and I think they're starting to roll out, you can do up to 10 minutes or more now. It was like up to 1 minute before, and now it's like 10 or more. I think they're increasing the length of each video, right? Because I think I was watching this one video, and they're noticing that like the more views you get on a shorter video is not equal to the ad revenue you can get from more views and retention on a longer video. So this is also from like a business aspect point of view. But the thing is, like, TikTok, it's more doom scrolling than any other one, and it's more addicting and doom scrolling than any other one, but you're not reaching the same, like, even if you see an artist that's cool and you go to their page and you scroll through more of their stuff, like, that's great. That's probably the best possible outcome. But there's no, I don't know, it's weird. Like, and of course they can link to their shop, they can link to their Patreon, they can promote themselves on TikTok. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's like impossible, but it just has this, quality to it where it's like, you're just gonna get more of the same, like, really short, condensed, like, attention grabbing style of video. And whereas Instagram is similar, but I'd argue just a little bit better, and then YouTube is just the best, where, you know, you can have the short and the long form coexist in one thing, and then you can get paid from both of them, right? And TikTok, you can't really get paid, so they're just like, I think they took back one of their, like, the creator fund or whatever, or I mean, that might have been Reels, I'm sorry, but I know TikTok, you can't make that much money even if you're getting millions and millions of views. So it's like, well, then, I mean, that just sucks for the creators and the artists, right? Like, that's shitty. And while YouTube isn't the best, the best of the worst, you know? So like while YouTube isn't perfect, it's the best. It's the best of the worst as far as that kind of stuff goes, right? So the thing that I this is what I noticed, right? And in my head the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, what do I do? I started looking at other creators who I really like or who have a really good following, who like consistently have, you know, lots of engagement and stuff like that. And the answer seems to be like community. Artists and creators and people that can create a community that in turn creates lots of engagement through all the stuff they make, whether it's, you know, a Discord server that they make or a challenge that they have people, a contest that they have people participate in, just posting things and getting community involvement, art challenges, things like that. And while I don't really participate in a lot of stuff like that, I do notice the other people doing it, and it's like, even if you're just an outsider looking in, just seeing it going on, seeing it happening, keeping up to date with things, it feels good. It feels like you're part of something. And I think in this day and age, being able to feel like you're a part of something while still not having to even commit 100% of yourself to it is like a really nice win-win situation. Because then you don't feel as alienated and as alone as you might when, you know, if you're just scrolling a Reddit forum and, you know, just like, you know there's people out there with the same interests and stuff, but sometimes you may not like have a way to participate or a way to like actually interact with people in a meaningful way. And a lot of artists nowadays, what they're doing is, you know, they have their Patreons and stuff like that. I see a lot more artists doing Discord servers where people can join, and I'm a little 50-50 on that because I've joined a few and kind of left most of them just to kind of see what's going on. And some of them were really cool. Some of them seemed like, you know, they're still hustling and bustling, they're really involved, it's a cool little community that they've created. But some of them it's like, oh, I'm huge, I'm a big, like I have a lot of followers and stuff, I guess I need to create a Discord channel now or a Discord server. But it just ends up being like a weird place where like not much gets done, or like the wrong bad actors get involved and they kind of like, or it just becomes like a self-promotional kind of thing for other artists and other people, which is nice to have, you know, if you have a place to do that, like promote your own art and talk to other artists and stuff like that. But I think if you get to the point where there's nothing else going on, then that's a little bit of a problem. So I'm studying these things, I'm seeing that, it's like, okay, how can you have meaningful engagement within your Discord server or your community, whatever it is, right? You could just be talking to people from your YouTube channel, or you might be streaming on Twitch, so you have people that you're talking to. And obviously, I mean, talking to chat is huge. Like if you're a Twitch streamer and you're on there every day, 4 or 5 days a week, right? And you're talking to chat, they have your emotes, you know, they got your things, like you have inside jokes with everyone. Like honestly, that's one of the best communities. Like I follow a few streamers, I don't watch as many people live, mostly just because I'm in Japan and a lot of them are in America. But you know, I watch a lot of their stuff when they put it on YouTube, and it's like you can tell immediately why. It's just nice. Sometimes it's fun to just be talking to, like listening to somebody talk while they're playing games or making art or doing whatever, and it's like the community there is like so strong. I mean, you have people literally just giving creators, streamers money just because, basically, just because like it's like a true patronage system, almost more than Patreon, I would say. Like I guess it's the same as Patreon, but it's like I literally want to continue seeing you come on this stream and do stuff live, so here's money. Like it's beautiful, it's really awesome. Like I've always been amazed at like the streaming world, and I know there's bad shit there, and Twitch has proved itself to be really incapable of a lot of things when they probably should be better, and some higher up stuff like that, people turning over and changing, and like the future of Twitch is not looking super bright. But if you're a huge streamer, then you're doing fine. Smaller streamers, not so much, right? Which sucks because it becomes a little bit of a deterrent. But you know, that's a huge, like, take it all, like, I don't know the saying. I was gonna say like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I don't think that really applies here. But it's like you gotta take the good with the bad, right? So even if you can use Twitch, you're not getting paid. You're not affiliated or whatever, you can still have a small community or have it be a source that you can reach out to people with, right? So these are the things that I'm kind of noticing. And it seems like the people who do these types of things, oh, and one more thing is newsletters. I feel like newsletters have kind of been making a little bit of a comeback. There's a few that I follow. One, Jesse Nyberg, he's this graphic designer, does a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. I just on a whim was like, you know what, yeah, because I was following him. He had a podcast that he was doing for a while that I really liked, and he's like, I'm doing a newsletter, and I was like, sure, hit me, you know. I don't really follow any newsletters, and I enjoy it. I think normally I think he posts them on like Sunday, but that's always like Monday morning for me. So it's really nice because that'll be one of the first things I do Monday morning, like check out the newsletter. I have like one or two other ones that I follow, but that's the main one just because I don't know why. I like the stuff that he talks about, and it's really like, you know, you can tell like he does a good job at it, but there's you know, it's like kind of just like this, kind of off the cuff, off the top of his head, like thinking or like pertaining to a video that he made, and like same like crossing over topics and stuff like that, which is totally fine for me. It's normally pretty interesting and just nice to like read something. I know it's digital, but it's like you get a letter, you know, like that's why it's a newsletter, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a throwback to a more like analog style way of doing things in a digital world. So that's another thing you can do. And I just, yeah, I guess to kind of summarize the things that I've noticed that are working for people if you want to focus more on engagement and creating a community is, right? So it's like, first of all, be aware, right? And this is not like I don't really know too much of this stuff myself, right? This is what I've noticed over the past year or so, especially thinking about it a lot over the past 3 to 4 months. Like, be aware of your audience, be aware of who you're talking to, and really try to find your niche. This is going to help you. If you find your niche, find your thing that you're like super kind of focused in, I think that will help draw people who are also within that niche to you in a more stronger and make a stronger connection with all of those things, right? And then find out ways to stay engaged with those people. I know like YouTube even has like the little community board and stuff, and I normally don't really check that out, but every now and then I have seen creators use it in a really cool way. It's kind of like a nice way to just post updates and stuff like that. Essentially kind of like a Twitter on your YouTube, right? Just for like posting updates and keeping people up to date with your shop or whatever it is. And I really like that. So find your niche and figure out ways to cultivate and continue engagement, right? So that could be, like I said, like posting on a forum or on a dashboard or a community channel, creating a Discord server so that people can like personally join your Discord server and like probably talk to you personally, right? That's kind of one of the things that is nice about those types of situations. And then, you know, doing little events, doing giveaways, doing contests, doing art challenges, talking to people in your videos, and maybe like, you know, above the whole like trying to get engagement throughout your videos, like, hey, comment down below, blah, 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 like, which is all primary stuff that you can do as well. But like actually creating instances where people can, you know, actively get involved, where it's like, hey, I'm going to do this art challenge. So if you send me this thing in, I'll rank the best 5 and then I'll do my own version or something like that, right? There's a ton of people doing stuff like that. And I think what I'm noticing is like the people who are the most proactive and who have a really nice kind of their own style, their own personality, their own niche kind of figured out, those people who are really proactive and doing a lot of things where you just give people opportunities to connect with you and talk with you and stuff like that, that across all platforms, we're talking Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, it doesn't matter. This seems to be a recipe for people that I personally really enjoy and who I have found that I end up being the most engaged with on a personal level, or like as far as like who I watch the most videos, watch their most content, look at their art, who go back to their art, go back to their video because I thought it was so well made, such a sweet, dope little animation, and then they also had a video explaining it. They did a process breakdown, that kind of thing. I love that kind of stuff. So those are the people who I end up gravitating towards. And all these things that I've noticed is just people who are not fake, who have good personality, who really put their heart into everything, like genuine. They seem really genuine. They're like passionate about what they do. They may have found like a really awesome niche. They have their own style. And then what they do on top of all that is they're very proactive about engaging with their audience, with their people, their viewers, people they don't know, being very engaging and positive to like recruit new people to come in, you know, get some new followers, people who might not know them, and doing it in a genuine way as well, where it's like, it's not just like, you're not just saying, hey, like and subscribe every 10 seconds in a video, because if I see something like that, I'm personally going to not ever like and subscribe that video. like that video or subscribe to your channel if you keep saying shit like that, because it gets annoying, right? Because it's not earnest, it's not genuine. These people that can really just figure out their own way and then engage with people, like, this is why we have these parasocial relationships. You have these relationships with these people because it's fun to watch what they're doing. It's fun to listen to what they say. It's fun to see what other people are saying. Like if you're watching a chat while you're watching somebody else, it's the whole engagement thing. And all of this stuff is just going to add up, and it's just going to help you become successful. And what I think the most important thing here is this is how you're going to get the longevity that you might be wanting. Like personally, I want to have some longevity in this kind of thing. So I will try my best to do these types of things. And this is just what I've noticed over the past couple months, especially thinking about it a lot this past week, is I'm really happy for the views and the followers that I've been getting. But I'm still kind of, you know, I'm trying to push myself to a lot harder to actually create like a singular kind of message, a singular kind of feeling, tone, vibe to this stuff that I'm making, especially with the main YouTube videos that I'm making for this channel. And I'm still working really hard to try and get to that point, because I feel like I'm definitely not there yet. And that's just my thoughts on everything. So to get some engagement on this video, let me ask you a question. What is your favorite thing that you see that creators do that like makes you actually comment or like subscribe or like? What is the thing that like gets you to actually do that stuff, that won't turn you off? It's not like a, oh god, like I'm not gonna hit your bell and subscribe because you keep saying it every 10 seconds. What is the opposite of that? What is the best thing you've seen somebody do, or like the most thing that you're just like appreciative of that somebody does and makes you want to participate in a contest, a giveaway, whatever it is? Let me know down in the comments so we can get some engagement going in on this video. But that is going to be it from me. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.